Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tim Hart, branch manager of Van Dyke Mortgage right here in Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome to an episode of the Heartbeat Show podcast. I've got a friend with me, getting to know him over the last couple of years. Our kids go to school together. He is a local dentist in Cape Coral, Dr. Phill Kraver. Phil, how you doing, sir?
Man, thanks for having me. You know, you
Can I call you Phil on the air, or do I got to go doctor?
Please call Phil. Yeah, Dr. Phil's got that negative connotation with the, you know.
Yeah. That's how old of a joke is that, by the way, to you when you're like, oh, Dr. Phil?
I used to not like it because I was, I felt like I was being compared. But you ever watch his show? He's got some good advice. I mean, he's got some kind of quirky characters on there, but I'll say for the most part, he does a pretty good job. So
I enjoy Dr. Phil. He's funny to me, man. So, yeah. You're all right, man. Better than being named Tim. So good job, Phil.
Well, and you said that our kids know each other, but you forgot to mention the fact that at the last dance, I think that they might even have danced together. I think that your son asked my daughter to dance. And, I'm actually interviewing you at this point, man. I'm seeing if this is where this is going here.
Yeah, well, dude, trust me, my daughter's in your son's class too, so this could be we may get to know each other more than we want in the future.
That's fun.
Let's hope it's on my son's side. Yeah. Just kidding, man. Well, hey, you're a great family. You guys are. And so brought you on today. We were talking, you have a really cool presentation called The Science of the Smile, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that. But before we do, tell us a little about yourself, man. How did you end up becoming a dentist and following this path?
Sure. My dad's a dentist, Dr. Mark Kraver. He's been here since the 80s in Cape Coral, Del Prado. And so I grew up in Cape Coral and never really wanted to be a dentist, wanted to be a physician. And when I got into college, decided to start looking at all the different health careers and just came back to dentistry. He was always at my basketball games and football games and always was there for me. And I loved being around the office. And the more I looked into it, I said, I'm going to try this dentistry thing out. And I'm really glad I did because it's really fitted my personality, my just the way I kind of operate. And I love the talking to patients and helping patients. And, people really have a lot of issues and we're able to really help people on a very personal level. And it's a really good fit for me. And I've just loved being a dentist over the last, 10, 12 years.
Cool, man. Well, you're doing a good job. Heard nothing but good things about you. And it's amazing how many dentists go to our kids' school too, man. You guys are everywhere now.
We kind of flock together. We got some of the funnest dentists in town, I think, have congregated at our school too.
Yeah, Truax's, McDowell's, right? There's several of them in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are like a clan, man. Good job. So let's get into, you got anything else to talk about your practice before we get into your presentation?
I think we'll just jump right into it. Yeah.
Okay. So real quick though, before we do this, going to hand the screen over to Phil, and he's going to share a few slides. If you're listening on audio, make sure you check it out on YouTube. But he's going to walk us through this, and I'm really interested to hear what you got to say about the smile. So, Dr. Phil, take it over, man. Share your screen.
Let it share it right here. Let me know if you can see that.
Yep.
That? Okay,
Dr. Cool. Kraver started screen sharing. There he is, Joker-looking guy. You got him.
For those who aren't able to watch it, I'll try not to reference it too much, but it's kind of my crutch. I like to have something right in front of me that can help.
Hey, you do your thing, man. If they got to go watch the video, they'll go watch the video.
Perfect, man, perfect. So the science of the smile. As a dentist, that's kind of our place that we live. We have people coming in every day to us to ask us about their smile, for us to evaluate it. They have little things that they want to improve, sometimes large things to improve. And so we kind of have to sometimes take a couple steps back and really look at the whole picture of a person and kind of talk to them a lot about not just their individual teeth, but just sometimes their attitude, their expectations, and kind of, going forward. And over the years, both in dental school and continuing education and just, personal study, you learn a lot about smiling and how important it is for life. And you kind of see it in your patients. And so I want to kind of put together a couple little slides and a couple little pointers and I think important things for you to know about a smile. It's not just about dentistry. It's about really your overall well-being. And so I think you learned today that, you probably will smile a little bit more after this presentation, hopefully. Okay.
I'm already smiling. I'm already happy.
Yeah, keep going. All right. So let's start it off. So why study smiling? Oh. Okay, here we go. So the smile in a lot of different fields of study has been known as like the best scientific indicator of the emotional state of a human being. So like when when you look across the room and see somebody, you can kind of tell what's going on in their mind. If they're smiling, you know that they're having a good time. If they're not, you kind of don't know. So if you really want to be able to tell what's happening in somebody, to know their smile or why they're smiling is really, really important. So a lot of fields of science have kind of converged on smiling to kind of figure out why we smile, when we smile, how can we tell if somebody's fake smiling versus real smiling? And so psychologists study this. All the psychology is full of studies of smiling. Sociologists want to know how people interact together in groups. Marketing, when a company puts out a new product, they get focus groups together. They get a lot of people together in a room. And when they film, that's one of their criteria that they look for is how quickly do patients or consumers smile before when experiencing the products. Economics, when you smile, you really value something when you smile usually. And so the value aspect of things comes into play when people smile. And of course, medicine. So many studies have been showing how important smiling and laughing and just having a good time influences your health and your longevity, as we'll kind of see here in a little bit. And so taking it way back to like the 1800s, just to kind of start off with like when did smiling really start to get started?
You take this picture in Norfolk Myers? Where is this?
Yeah, man, this right here is down the street right here. This is,
That North Cape? Is that North Cape Coral?
The crackers coming down, down.
It's your boy Wild Bill Belvin you were talking about.
Wild Bill Belvin, that's right.
Yeah.
So this guy, 1800s, was really no laws or rules for doing science. And so this guy Duchenne, a French scientist, started putting electrodes on people's faces. And what he was trying to do is he was an anatomist. So he's trying to figure out which muscles mimicked or actually made you smile. And so he'd hook it up to these people's cheeks, their faces, and all over the place. And he would identify exactly where their smile muscles originated from. And what we know now is what we call this is the true smile, like the king of smiles, like the best smile ever, what involves all the muscles of your face, is actually called the Duchenne smile. And so when you look at somebody smiling, every other smile that's not a Duchenne smile is really just kind of a social smile, just kind of like below the eyes, kind of raising the corners of your lips. But a full Duchenne smile is when you get really elevated eyes, elevated cheek. Okay. And so
I cannot wait to smile in the mirror already, dude.
It's amazing. So he took these electrodes, put them all over people's faces, and made the frowning faces, and he figured out exactly how we did this. And it's called the Duchenne smile, like I said. One of the words that we give to this smile also is called smizing. It's not really a popular word, but I've heard it used a couple times. And that's smiling with your eyes, smizing, kind of cute, But this really involves the eye muscles, like I said, pulling the eyelids up, which actually makes the eyes squint a little bit, and also gets this little crow's feet in the corners there. So if you're wondering, people who have lots of crow's feet say, well, that's actually a sign that you've been doing a whole lot of smiling. People get Botox to slow that stuff down. Sometimes that can actually interfere with their ability to smile a Duchenne smile. Beauty sometimes will sacrifice that, I guess. But that crow's feet is where you get that from. You can kind of tell when you see someone who's lived a good life, a happy life. You can kind of see it on their face a little bit.
So crow's feet is just a symptom of smiling and laughing a lot?
So it's what happens when that's a really kind of a crunchy area where you just kind of fold up right there. But when you have a true Duchenne smile, you can't have it without your crow's feet showing. Okay, so a lot of women don't want to get rid of this thing, but it's actually a sign of pure joy. Okay, so there's actually, like I said, there's really two smiles. One is like the social smile. That's kind of focused down below your nose. Okay, that's just your corners of your lips going up. And like I said, when you go to a full smile, you get really, really big face, cheek muscles. And you probably can think of someone in your life now that's just always kind of beaming, smiling. And this next study shows some really cool things here too. So one of my favorite studies about smiling is this baseball card study. Did you ever collect baseball cards, Tim?
Oh, dude. Yeah, man.
Speaking of baseball,
you bring up baseball cards. We go off topic here for a second, but I picked the absolute. I'm a few years older than you, like 5, and I picked the absolute worst time to go head first into baseball cards. It was 1986. It was 86 Topps, and I got like 7,000 of these shitty cards. They're worth like a, the most expensive card in the whole set's like $1. It was like the worst time ever. But yeah, I was big time into cards for several years.
You remember that store off Del Prado, at the card shop? It's kind of by like in between Vizcaya and Walmart on the kind of the east side. That's where I get all my cards. And I was
it was on the east side of Del Prado, right?
Yeah, east side of Del Prado there.
Yep.
I used to go in there all the time. I used to ride my bike up there and just buy cards. But yeah, so anyway, they did these 1950s. They took all these baseball players and lined up all their cards, and they actually measured the size of their smile. And they had 12-point criteria of like, which muscles are raised, and trying to see, trying to categorize them into 3 different categories. One was no smile, one was partial smile, one was beaming smile, which we also call the Duchenne smile in science. And what they found is that the players who had the beaming smiles, the largest smiles, actually lived much longer than those in their baseball cards that didn't smile at all. So on average, the people who had beaming smiles lived to about 80, whereas the ones who didn't smile at all were only passing away around 73. It's about 7 years difference that you can see, and that's almost a tenth of your life, depending on how long you live. And the people who kind of had the slight smile in the middle, kind of that social smile, were also kind of in the middle. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And
do you know how many cards they did?
They did something like something 300, 400 something. So
that's a lot.
Yeah. So they broke it down pretty well, and it kind of come out to it fell along the lines of their hypothesis, which is the bigger the smile, the longer the person's longevity would be. It also predicted their careers. People who actually had longer careers actually had bigger smiles too. So not only did it affect how long
careers
they lived,
in baseball.
Longer careers in baseball. So actually longer careers and longer lives. Okay, so it's pretty interesting that just a smile would predict that. Now, one thing that you think about is, okay, what if I'm not a smiley person? Okay, and there's a lot of smiley people. They might annoy me. They might have these, just naturally smiley. But what we found is that you can actually teach yourself and actually get some of the benefits of smiling from just trying to smile. And there's this guy who used to hang around Martin Luther King. Can't pronounce his name, Nich Town Man, but he was some Buddhist monk back in the day. And he has this quote that's like all over every science journal, or smile science literature article, and they all quote this guy saying, "Sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy." And they love this quote because it's actually bared out in science pretty well by multiple studies. And one of the studies, well, actually, before I do that, so every time you smile, a true Duchenne smile, okay, you don't really get the same benefits if you just kind of curl up your lips, but every time you actually raise your eyebrows and raise your eyes and your cheek muscles contract, you get that really big, goofy looking smile, your brain actually has like a party. It really goes nuts. And really the chemicals that are secreted are the dopamine and the serotonin and some of the other kind of minor neurotransmitters. And these are the same chemicals that are secreted when we have pleasure. And so we actually give ourselves these big doses of dopamine and serotonin just by smiling and having a time. And there's one study that I read that in one dose of a Duchenne smile, the amount of dopamine and serotonin secreted by your brain is more than like 2,000 bars of chocolate. To imagine how much power it is and how much well-being that you get from these two chemicals is pretty amazing.
Huh.
And so serotonin and dopamine, I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but just kind of a side note, you ever seen these people wearing these necklaces yet with these like chemical symbols around them? I've seen like 4 or 5 patients come in the last couple of months and they're wearing these. It's like a stylish thing now to wear these dopamine and serotonin little charms around your neck,
Yeah, my wife would probably notice that. I'm a little too dumb. I would look at it and think like, what do they got, like stick figures? I wouldn't put that together.
When I first saw
now I will though, Phil. Now I will.
Now you will be like, hey, is that dopamine?
Yeah, you got dopamine and serotonin on your neck?
And you're telling them, like, did you smile bigger than tell them about the chocolate bars? And they'll probably say,
let me see your Duchenne. Is that going to be weird if you go up and say it to somebody?
But I think
show me your Duchenne.
That'd be good. Now
don't let me ruin your presentation, by the way. Please do, actually. This is going to keep going if you don't.
So about that forced smile I was talking about, I don't know about your kids, but if you like show up to somewhere and you're like, you see them like putting that frowny face on, you just kind of like, give them a shoulder, hey, smile. Like you need to like, increase your social awareness that people are actually watching and you want to, not give off a rude vibe, But there's a lot of studies on forced smiling actually causing happiness. And so what they did in this one study is they didn't tell anybody what was happening. They just gave them things to put in their mouth, and they gave them instructions. And they said, okay, we're going to put this pencil or this stick in your mouth, but you can't let it touch your lips, okay? Or you can't let it touch your teeth. And so what that actually does is if you imagine putting a pencil inside your mouth and not being able to touch your lips to it, it actually makes you lift all your muscles up in your face, all the way up into your cheeks, all into your eyes, and so you pull your lips out of the way. And they also did it for frowny faces. They put this a stick in their mouth and had them tell them that you can't touch your teeth, only your lips, and so it make you kind of pucker your face and kind of make you kind of frown a little bit. And then what they did with these people is they showed them. There's a couple different studies with different techniques, but one showed them like cartoons and one showed them different type of video clips. And afterwards, they made the participants rate their experiences. And what they found was that the people who had forced smiles led to more positive feelings and perceptions. They actually had better scores and more positive feelings and perceptions according to their face. And for the people who were forced to frown led to more negative feelings and perceptions, which I don't know about you, Tim, that's kind of crazy that you can literally force yourself to smile or frown and it actually affect your outlook on life. I mean, like, I wish our kids can be in here and kind of be presenting this to them.
Dude, I've been sitting here as you're doing this thinking my oldest mainly, but all of them almost. It's like they don't want to let that smile rip, and I love their smiles, and it's like you got to almost yell at them to do it.
Well, it's crazy. I read one study that said that children on average smile 400 times per day, and that as they get older, it starts to dramatically decrease. There's actually 14 to 15% of adults smile less than 5 times per day, which is a pretty 5 times. So kids can average 400, and there's a certain population of adults who only smile less than 5% or 5 times per day. So, and our older kids right now, that 12-year-old age, I mean, that's when they're really starting to like the social aspect of it. I'm really seeing like the number of smiles go down. I love watching old videos with her and just showing like, hey, remember look at this, how much fun you used to have doing these things. And, it's amazing how the smiling decreases. And if you ever hang around,
as life starts beating them up, man, they can become less and less smiley. Is that what happens?
It's exactly what happens. I mean, you're at the baseball fields and like, coaching and stuff like that. When you get like a real young group of kids out there, like, the 7-year-olds or whatever, and they're all practicing, they're just goofy. They're smiling. They're just having a great time. And then, fast forward a couple of years, like the 13, 14-year-olds, and they're all like,
cool guy in it.
Yeah. We're all like, and there's maybe a couple of kids on the team that are smiling. Most of them are just trying to be so cool that their smiles don't show. It's kind of frustrating, but.
What about like, I mean, I don't want to say what we used to call it, but like the person that has like that permanent scowl, like they walk around and they may not be mean, that's like the thing that's amazing about it, but like they look it.
So, and that's a challenge. And I think that it's awareness. And sometimes you're literally born with the genetics that you have. You may be born with, different muscles that are not as prone to lift, or some people's brain chemistry, really put them in a place where it's hard for them to kind of get out of it, to be able to smile very quickly. There's a threshold that in every neuron in your brain, that has to reach before the next signal starts to happen. Some people seem to be more prone to, they're having a lower threshold to smile, just like anger. Some people have a low threshold to anger. Some people have a low threshold to do these things before the chemical reactions start to kind of play its part out. So I think it's really important to train yourself, because your brain is just a bag of goo, and it's trainable to just, as a habit, making sure that you're kind of quick to smile, in most situations, because as we'll learn a little bit later, smiling makes you look more attractive. It makes you look more confident. It makes you, it it raises your sincerity level just by smiling, just by sitting across from someone and doing that. So
Ooh, attractive and smarter. I'm gonna start smiling my ass off everywhere I go now.
Exactly. Just keep it up, man. I'm gonna be on you. Okay.
I need all the help I can get.
Oh man, I've always had a good time around you, Tim. I think you bring the good mood around you. So yeah, that's a hard thing to do too. Yeah.
Well, appreciate that, Phill.
So carrying on, and kind of what I just said is that it's not easy to control your emotions, but you can always control your facial muscles. Meaning that even when you don't feel like being happy or smiley, you can literally voluntarily tell your smile muscles to move, and it's a two-way street. As you move your eye muscles and your cheek muscles up, the same area in your brain gets stimulated when it doesn't naturally. Okay, and so you start to send these feedback loops back to yourself, and you actually can climb out of some problems just by smiling. And I read one of the anecdotes in one of the journals that I just read was this guy telling a story about how terrible his day was, and he went to a coffee shop, and the server there was really cute and smiled at him, and it totally changed his day. Just that smile from someone else, when you see it, we're social animals. We actually see someone smiling, it actually makes us more likely to smile too. So not only when you smile, you change yourself, but you actually change someone else's brain chemistry by smiling at them. So the power you have over someone else to smile at them, I mean, you really wield some power over them. Say, I can actually control your day, your chemistry, by giving you a pleasant smile or a laugh or a chuckle. I mean, it's pretty amazing if you think about it.
Well, that's your attitude's infectious, good or bad.
Exactly.
They walk in with that scowl, it can rub off really quick on everybody else. They walk in all happy and ready for it. It rubs off on people.
I agree, man. So as far as a dentist, what I do, and we're always asked to improve our smiles. And some patients come in and they've got really no problems at all. They got maybe like a little tiny thing, and when I'm looking at them, I'm thinking to myself like, man, they actually have a very pleasant smile. They actually have a lot going on for them. Like I guarantee nobody actually sees this. This is more of a personal thing, which obviously we're there to help them and whatever they need to us. But part of my job is to kind of reassure them that their problem may not be as big as they think it is. And so I love trying to help patients trying to have a positive outlook and view of themselves with their own teeth. But the easiest ways to improve your smile is usually from bleaching your teeth, okay, which there's a variety of products for that over the counter, and also in-office bleaching or tray bleaching, which is my favorite. There's a lot of ways to do orthodontics these days, from the Invisalign to the full brackets. Now, there's something called limited orthodontics, which is not a full-on, fix every single tooth and rotate it, and just kind of more focus on the social 6 front teeth, just kind of get them a little more lined up, okay? That usually doesn't take as long, and it's not quite as costly to do. Then there's also veneers. Veneers are, in my opinion, a little bit more extreme to do for a patient. You really have to evaluate a lot of things before you just get veneers, because a lot of dentists won't tell their patients this. I think it's important, but the average veneer, according to science, only lasts about 7 years. And so if you get your veneers in your 40s and you plan on living to, however long you plan on living, you're going to have an investment to replace veneers over time, because nothing that we do in general in life, including dentistry, lasts forever. And so, veneers can last a long time, but on average, veneers can pop off, they can chip, they can stain, they can have some cavities grown underneath them. So bleaching and orthodontics is probably the most conservative way to get you to where you want to. Okay. Now, for those that don't have the slideshow, I'm sorry, but what I'm going to do is just kind of show you some before and afters of some celebrities, okay, to kind of show you kind of what has happened to some of these guys over the years to help them improve their smiles. And I think it really kind of goes a long way, because you've seen these people before. For instance, George Clooney, everybody knows him. In these pictures here, you can kind of see that, I don't know, that's probably his ER days a long time ago. But really, he didn't have much done to his teeth. It looks like he just bleached his teeth, and maybe some limited orthodontics, because you can tell his edges are about the same. They're a little bit worn. They're not perfect, okay? There's a lot of dentists who try to make everything absolutely perfect if that's what the patient wants, and we try to give it to them. But there's always, some value in trying to characterize things that make it look a little more natural. There's not that picket fence, smile that people might have. And I think George Clooney does a pretty good job there. The people, think he's an attractive guy, and he doesn't have absolutely perfect teeth. he does have whiter teeth. So I think he has done some bleaching here. Okay.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's all right. He's good. And this is Zac Efron when he was a kid, and you kind of see where he had like, a gap in his front teeth. His teeth are kind of rounded, which is kind of even more feminine quality to teeth. But you can see that all he really did was just orthodontics to close some of the spaces that he had and kind of rotate teeth in the right place. But for the most part, his teeth really didn't need a whole lot of work to make them a little bit more pleasant looking. Okay. And I would argue that a lot of patients maybe even need something like this. They just need to be more confident in themselves and to live with some of their imperfections. But obviously, if you're making millions of dollars, you
right, a little easier. Yeah, that's why he was so good in The Greatest Showman. By the way, top 5 movie.
That was great.
Oh, dude, yeah, Morgan Freeman needed this.
So Morgan Freeman back in the day, this guy, he definitely had some crown and bridge, which means that he probably had his teeth capped. We kind of remove about 1 millimeter or 2 millimeters away from the surface of the teeth, and we make space for new teeth to go on top of them like shells. He probably also had some orthodontics because some of those teeth are pretty out of line. But I think Morgan Freeman, you tell on the left here, he already made it. This is post Shawshank Redemption. This is post all of his big movies. This is kind of he didn't need those teeth to make it in life. He had
wait, we got to pause. Was his teeth that bad in Shawshank?
I gotta go back and look.
No,
but
those are prison teeth, maybe. But like, I don't see him being that bad the whole time, man. That's horrible.
Well, remember, we're looking up close, and we're looking at a pretty big smile, and this is close to a Duchenne smile, and he's showing a lot of his.
Yeah, he's very proud of them, man. He's very proud of those teeth.
And it's probably taken from a telescopic lens, like 800 yards away from some paparazzi guy, looking at that. Because
you're such a nice guy. For listen to you, man. You are just covering for this dude. I like it.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that when I look at the person on the left, of course we can do some things to fix him up. But what I love most about it is that he's confident about his teeth, and that
no doubt.
As long as they're healthy, like as long as there's no cavities, there's no periodontal disease. If your teeth are a little rotated, a little discolored, like, hey man, still rock a smile. Like, don't worry, don't get so self-conscious about yourself. Don't get so bent out of shape if you're not perfect. And but obviously, someone convinced them to get some teeth done.
Yeah, he's got the same earrings in too.
Yep. And this is Lindsay Lohan. So I'm kind of curious about what happened to her. She had a lot of looks like she had some darker teeth, maybe even some kind of malformations genetically. I'd have to go look and see her movies when she's smaller, but she's just got her teeth don't seem like a natural tooth, and maybe she had something done to them. But then she obviously had veneers, so her teeth are pretty straight to begin with, but she definitely covered her front teeth with porcelain. And porcelain veneers, they have range of thickness. They can be microscopic, almost like super thin, like tenths of millimeters, all the way to almost 2 millimeters thick, for the front of the teeth. And but she definitely had veneers. Now this is my favorite, Tom Cruise. I mean, when he was coming up, his teeth were not so great. They're quite crooked. Looks like one of them was scullered, because it was one of two.
Scullered mean chipped? Like, he looks like he has a chipped tooth.
So I think it's a combination of chipped and also rotated backwards, and so it's like in the recesses and the shadows, and you kind of see that black triangle between there. Also, when a tooth is set back in the arch, when you brush your teeth, you kind of miss it sometimes. Sometimes that tooth actually darkens because it's not getting as clean as the ones out in front. Okay, so we see that a lot. The tooth behind, sometimes get a little bit darker. And so he had orthodontics and braces. I think that there were several pictures of him over the years in braces. I think he actually had it multiple times. And then obviously he had some veneers put on his teeth as well. And I put this up here. This is, I don't know if you're into soccer. I'm not too much into soccer, but this is, I think, the Liverpool coach. So just because you have cosmetic dentistry done doesn't always mean that you're going to be satisfied with the end result. You really got to work with a dentist who can visualize and help you visualize what your teeth will look like at the end. Now, he may love these teeth on the right-hand side, but I will tell you that they look. Would you say yes or no? Those teeth look natural on the right-hand side, Tim?
No, they look massive too.
They look massive. They're too white. That's an unnatural color tooth for him. Usually, the whites of the eyes is the colors that are usually should be the same color as the teeth. If you go whiter than the white of the eyes, sometimes you really sort of get that glaring difference. And they're very opacious, meaning that the light doesn't shine through them very well. They kind of bounce off. So having having a nice smile, but not artificial. We always try to make sure our teeth don't have that quality to them. So if you're going to have your teeth done, make sure you can really visualize what they're going to look like in the end. And there's a lot of digital techniques that we use, and examples and photos of previous cases. And so this is an example of someone who really wanted to fix their smile, but maybe did the opposite. I think people are drawn to this now in maybe a negative way, not. And actually, the one on the left, I think, looks more natural if you just lighten his teeth up a little bit. I think you
Yeah, I would
better.
agree. I definitely would agree. But he seems pretty happy about his smile, though. He seems to be digging it.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes people want that.
Yeah,
so,
it looks like a mouthful of gravestones, but he does some big old teeth there, man.
Yeah, he's a bright guy. So sometimes we have to lengthen teeth. If you grind your teeth all down, we lengthen them. This is a guy that we lengthened some teeth for, and he was just the happiest guy afterwards. I mean, he was really had a good personality, but this was his smile on the left side. He was just kind of grimacing through a smile.
That's it. But that's the way he smiled?
That was his smile. And so because his teeth were so shortened, and so we just lengthened his teeth and gave him some actual tooth display to show. And he actually, it changed his whole face. It literally changed his whole face. I didn't put a picture up here because
right.
I don't think I have a consent form for him, but yeah, it's pretty powerful when you get.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd be kind of pissed off if you're like, here's Bob Jones in his face.
Well, this is going viral, so I don't want him to see it.
Yeah, viral.
I don't want him to see it.
Yeah, good idea.
Good idea. Okay, all right, we're almost to the end here. So, here's an actor on the right. I forget his name. He's been in a bunch.
William Dafoe.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. William something. But, here's a great example of someone who has made it in life. He's got a little space between his teeth. They're not quite where they should be, but he's rocking them. He's got a Duchenne smile on. He's happy, and that actually would look better than something artificial.
Crow's feet are kicking. He smiles all the time. I can tell. He's got crow's feet all over the place.
And my counseling to this patient would be, if your teeth are healthy, you've got this far in life. If it doesn't bother you, unless somebody's your wife is nagging you or something like that, leave it as it is. Because you're actually doing really well with your teeth, and just your personality is amazing. Just keep smiling, and people will be happy with it. And don't be embarrassed by imperfection. I think that a lot of people, they see a perfect thing on Instagram or wherever, and they want to be so perfect. But I say that sometimes perfect is not your friend. It's actually sometimes detrimental to the whole thing. Once you get those perfect teeth, what if you still aren't confident? Then you're going to still have problems. When you smile. So, and see a dentist if you want to learn about options. You don't have to get treatment. You just talk to them, and you can figure out if this is something you want to do moving forward. So,
do people ever go from like, hey, I like William Dafoe, if you did it for him, and but he didn't like his smile, then you did it, and all of a sudden, like, mentally, do they ever go and say like, oh, now I think everyone knows it's a fake smile? Do you ever see that happen?
So it's a tough thing, because if you're making big changes in someone's mouth, if someone's asking you to literally change the way that they present themselves in their face, you really have to have a conversation, and that's what you have to visualize. And there's ways now where we can wax up the teeth, where so we come in, either take digital impressions where we scan the teeth and we have to put on a computer and put your face on there and kind of see some things, or you take traditional models and you actually wax where the teeth should be, carve how you think the teeth should be, and you can actually make a transfer piece where you actually transfer it from the stone model to the mouth and put the resin inside there that'll be able to flake off your teeth, but you actually put it in your mouth and actually smile and have the teeth inside your mouth before you do any prepping or do anything the major work. So you kind of see what it will look in place. That's really helpful for the dentist too, to make sure that we're on the right track. Is the bite where you want it to be? Is the length okay? Is it too short? Are they too wide if you're trying to close space? So that's a really helpful thing to know. And most dentists will tell you, it's our kind of mantra in our office, is no surprises, because when you're dealing with these things, some of these things are permanent. If I prepare your teeth and take off a portion of your enamel to make space for new porcelain, I can't put it back on. So the more pre-work you do into the case to make sure that you're on the right track, the better. Okay. For people with dentures or implant restorations, where you can try things in and out, that's a little less of a problem because you can always switch something out. But when there's someone's teeth in the mouth, you really have to worry about that. So,
I'm glad to see you put that in the end of this about being yourself. I just, with social media, especially, so many people are like, they think Instagram and all these filter photos are like real life, man. And they're not, especially these filters, man.
Oh
They
yeah.
don't even look like who they are.
And I think that, to be confident in what you got, beauty's fleeting in life. You can't always hold on to it, but you can always hold on to your attitude. You can always hold on to things that are actually going to draw more people to you. I've never seen someone have, or in my experience, I don't think I have seen somebody's teeth draw a friend to them. You don't get new friends or, just because you have nice teeth. It's the way that you display your teeth is confidence. It's the way you handle yourself. It's your body. It's your person. And some people do come alive when they get new teeth. You see somebody's a little bit shy if they got an embarrassing tooth, and all of a sudden replace. And you do see sometimes they come alive, and all of a sudden they're smiling much bigger, and they're coming in, and they're just beaming and happy about their new teeth and showing them off. And obviously there's a lot of that, but I would say for the most part, however you start is how you're going to finish. You don't necessarily get liquid courage, just from having teeth.
Liquid courage. Well, Phill, you got any more slides there? Or are we good?
You know what? We're pretty much good. I think that's a good place to end. Thanks for having me, Tim. Hopefully you guys got something out of that. I think the big thing is just smile more, and be conscious about it, because there's a lot of times in life you just kind of get down or tired, but you can literally lift yourself out of some of those problems just by smiling. And it's proven by science.
Dude, I love it, man. That was you did a really good job. You give this presentation to like other groups and stuff too?
I got a bunch of different things. I like it in front of kids. I remember being really influenced by speakers when I was a kid growing up. Like the power company would come, and like the guy on light pole would be like, and this is how I changed the light pole. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to be an electrician on the light pole. The next person would come in talking about whatever. And so I think kids, and just, I don't know if I'm talking to kids right now, but I do a lot of presentations for high schools and middle schools, because I think they need to see people who are passionate about their jobs, no matter what it is, that they're passionate about their jobs and they love it. And so that it gives them a little bit of, a glance in the future of what one day hopefully they're going to be. They can start seeing themselves doing some of these things. So.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Good job, buddy. Good job. So, Dr. Phill, where can they connect with you if someone out there wants to look you up, man? Get your services, or have any other questions? Where can they contact you?
Well, Cape Dental Care, can't miss us. Type in Cape Coral Dentist on Google, capedental.com. We're on Del Prado, in between the Midpoint Bridge and the South Bridge. We're on corner of Cornwallis and Del Prado, and come on and see us. Love to give you a consultation if you want to just come in and get your teeth looked at, or give you a nice cleaning. With the best hygienists in the area. We have 4 of them, and every single one of them is awesome. They'll get your teeth sparkly clean, fresh and how you need them.
Cool. Well, dude, I appreciate it. You guys out there, if you want to connect with Phill, I'll put his contact info in the comment section or the body of the post. I love that, as I appreciate happy people out there. I don't enjoy being around people that are in bad moods or sad or constantly downers. So pay attention to the man. He knows what he's talking about. Science backs him up. It's not just my dumb mind saying it. There's science behind it. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe. Love to have you there. If, by the way, a personal plug, if you want to buy a home, you need to get financing, be happy to help you out. Give me a call anytime I can help you. I'll give you my cell phone number, 239-910-5668. So appreciate you guys listening. Phill, man, thanks again, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you, Sam. See you around, bud.
And I'm sure we'll see you at school too, buddy. So
take care, bud.
Tell your son to watch it. Okay. See you later.
Tell your son to watch it.
Bye.